Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the virtual service of First Parish Church of Groton, Massachusetts. I am Reverend Aaliyah Kemmler. I am so glad you are here this morning. We are a community seeking to deepen spiritually, to take care of one another, and to be a blessing to this world. Unitarian Universalism is a faith for all. So whoever you are, whatever country you come from, whoever you love, whatever your abilities, challenges, or gifts, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here in this virtual but very real community. Thank you today to Emma Morella, First Parish bell ringer, to Sean McCann, our Director of Music Ministries for the Prelude and Postlude music, and to Christina Andrioli for her beautiful singing just before the service began. Thank you also to the First Parish Adult Choir, whose singing we will hear soon, and to Dave Hill, who created the choir video. I have just a couple of announcements to share with you. We have the live chat feature active, and we will keep it open for some time after the service. Please write in, let us know you are here. If you have news to share, please do so, being mindful that the chat is a public space while the service is live. Come on over to Zoom after the service for coffee hour and a chance to see one another's faces. The link to coffee hour will be on the screen after the service is over. I invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to visit our Facebook page. You can sign up for twice weekly church-wide messages by emailing welcoming@uugroton.org. Subscribe to our blog called Suddenly at Home, Fpcog, and there are links to all of that in the description box. So now I'm going to ring the meditation bell 3 times and invite you to take 3 deep, slow breaths. 1 for yourself, 1 for your loved ones, and 1 for our country in these days of protest and pandemic. Now let's listen to our adult choir sing Love Be Our Way, Truth Be Our Path, Justice We Walk in Thy Shoes by Carolyn McDade. It feels like a prayer for these days.
Love be our way, truth be our path, justice we walk in thy shoes. Love be our way, truth be our path, justice we walk in thy shoes. Love be our way, truth be our path, our way, truth be our path, justice we walk in thy shoes.
In the Unitarian Universalist tradition, we begin our services by lighting the chalice, the symbol of our faith, created during the Second World War for the Unitarians engaged in resistance work in liberating Jews and others who were being persecuted by the Nazis. In the face of that hatred and terror and fear, the chalice became a symbol of the inherent worth and dignity of all people and of our commitment as a people of faith to that worth and dignity. Now it reminds us again. The words for chalice lighting this morning are from a poem called What to Tell the Children by Rachel Cohn. She wrote this in November 2016 after the presidential election, but it feels like she could have written it this week about the brutality of racism, the great waves of protest sweeping our nation from cities to small towns, and the fact that so many white people are waking up at long last. What to tell the children? Tell them that this is the great awakening. Tell them that we humans have made some huge mistakes. And that's how we now find ourselves in this tenuous place. Teach them that hate is the poison. Teach them that love is the remedy. Tell them that everything is not okay, and knowing that is okay. Tell them that pretending that what is unacceptable is fine is what got us to this sick and dysfunctional spot on the timeline. Apologize for any prior attempts to teach them denial. Tell them you were blinded by desire for comfortable numbness. Express that you had the best of intentions, that you were working within a broken system where few benefited at the expense of many, that you laid low, kept to the status quo, obediently played your role, but those days are over because now you know better. Tell them they have no responsibility to follow someone based solely on a title. Tell them to practice discernment. Tell them authority and respect must be earned and are not inherently deserved. You tell them that just because something is legal doesn't mean it's right. You tell them to stand up and fight. Remind them that Rosa Parks righteously broke a law and the world took notice, that Harriet Tubman is our modern day Moses. Tell them love will win this war, but only if we remember that love is fierce. Fierce as a mother bear protecting her cubs. Tell them that although this existence is damaged beyond repair, they must not despair. There is possibility. And we will willingly and willfully open ourselves to new ways of being, because the old way is not working, has never worked, and the world deserves better. Tell them they are not free while another suffers enslavement. Teach them humility, but also to relearn to trust their intuition and beg their forgiveness for unintentionally misleading them. Tell them their gifts are useful. Tell them they are beautiful. Tell them they are the truth. So let's light the chalice today for this great awakening. May we stay awake. May the light of our chalice bring us strength and faith to give ourselves to this moment in our country's history, to give ourselves to this yearning for freedom and justice rising up. May it give us courage to do the hard things together and to keep doing them until we have learned a new way. We're calling that Mr. Arm. So let's sing together Spirit of Life by Carolyn McDade. As is our tradition, we sing it first in Spanish, translated by Lilia Cuervo and Ervin Barrios, and then in English. There is a link to the words in the description box, and I hope you will sing with me. Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí, y a corazón cántale tu compasión. Sopla el valor, sube en la mar, hasta moldear la justicia de la vida. Arriágame, libérame, fuente de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. So now I would like to talk to the children. First, let's say the words together that you say in the children's gathering when you go downstairs every Sunday with Liz. Say them with me and we'll do the hand motions together. We are Unitarian Universalists with minds that think, hearts that love, and hands ready to help. So our story today is called One by Kathryn Otoshi, and it is about how one person can make a difference and help other people to be brave, and how important that is. Here it is. One by Kathryn Otoshi. Blue was a quiet color. Are any of you quiet like blue? Blue enjoyed looking up at the sky, floating on the waves, and on days Blue felt daring, splashing in rain puddles. Every once in a while, Blue wished that they could be more sunny, like yellow, or bright, like green, or regal, like purple, or outgoing, like orange. But overall, Blue liked being blue, except when Blue was with Red. Red was a hothead. Red liked to pick on Blue. Red is a great color, Red would say. Red is hot. blue is not. Then blue would feel bad about being blue. Sometimes yellow comforted blue. Blue is a very nice color, yellow would say. But yellow never said that in front of red. Yellow never said, stop picking on blue. Green, purple, and orange thought blue was nice too, but they never told red to stop either. Every time red said something mean and no one spoke up, red got bigger and bigger and bigger. Soon, red grew so big that everyone was afraid of red and no one dared stop red. And red picked on all the colors, and then everyone felt a little blue. Until one came. One had a different shape, with bold strokes and squared corners. One was funny. One made the other colors laugh. Red saw this and got very hot. Stop laughing, red told yellow. Stop laughing, red told green. Stop laughing, red told purple and orange. And they did. Red rolled up to one. Stop laughing, red told one. But one stood up straight like an arrow. You see that? And said, no. Red was mad, but one wouldn't budge. So red rolled away. One turned to the colors and said, if someone is mean and picks on me, I, for one, say no. Then yellow felt brave and said, me too. And green agreed and said, me 3. And then purple became 4 and orange became 5. Blue saw the colors change. Blue wanted to count. Red grew hot. Red felt left out. Red grew hot and hotter. Red raced over to blue and said what red always said. Red is hot, blue is not. But this time, blue stood up tall and became 6. Red can be really hot, blue said, but blue can be super cool. Red blew a fuse and tried to roll over blue. But everyone took a stand and said no. Seeing them standing tall made red feel very, very, very small. Then red turned even redder and began rolling away. Blue called out, can red be hot and blue be cool? Red stopped in their tracks. Red can count too, said one. Red rocked and rolled and turned into 7. Everyone counts, they shouted. Then red laughed and joined the fun. Sometimes it just takes one. The end. So I invite you into a time of prayer and meditation now, or simply a time to be quiet within yourself. Take a few seconds to just breathe, to settle yourself wherever you are sitting. Imagine you are breathing in peace and breathing out love, as Sarah Dan Jones writes in her call to prayer. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. So as we rest here together in these days of pandemic and protest, let us remember that we are not alone. We are held in the love of this community, which is bigger than we knew. And we are held in the love which holds all of creation and which names each one of us beloved. Let us pray for all who are sick, for all who are grieving, and for all who are in need, for all who continue to risk their own safety and the safety of their loved ones in order to take care of others, and for all who are protesting despite the risk because of how much it matters. Let us hold in love the sorrows and concerns of this community, including these: Bob and Nancy on the death of Bob's cousin, who was like a brother to him. We continue to pray for Greg and the patients at Tewksbury Hospital and the staff of Badger Funeral Home for strength and healing. This week brought many joys to our community, and so we share that joy and honor it together. Let us share Andrea's joy that she celebrated another year on the planet this week and that she has good friends and a safe place to be. Let us share Debbie's joy that her young adult son is returning home. Mary's joy at the birth of her new granddaughter, Nora. Charlene and Sarah's joy on the birth of Charlene's great-granddaughter, Thea. And we pray for Kira and Craig as they await the birth of their first child any day. We share Amy and Ryan's joy that they are healing from illness and gaining strength, that Ryan's recent MRI results were good, and that their son Sam is finding peace in the garden. They write, "We have been so supported by this community. The love and support has healed many layers within us." Finally, we have more graduations to celebrate. Anna from kindergarten, Parker and Santiago from 4th grade, Abby and Lena from 8th grade. Congratulations to you all. And let us pray for ourselves also, for whatever we are in need of right now. And let's breathe together for just a moment, held in the strength and love of this community. Amen. So I have a couple more announcements to share with you. If you are local to Groton, you are welcome to come to our first weekly vigil for Black Lives today and every Sunday afternoon from 1 to 2. We will gather on Main Street along the church common with masks and social distance and stand in witness to the value and preciousness of Black lives. Bring a chair if you need one. We have signs at the church. And this afternoon at 3 p.m., First Parish United in Westford, Mass. And Westford Indivisible are holding a peace walk and rally. That is 3 o'clock on the Common in front of First Parish United, Westford. If you are newer to our community or longing for a deeper connection, whether you live near or far, you are invited to join the virtual gathering of our Connection to Community class today at 4 o'clock. Just email welcoming@uugroton.org to sign up. The Board of Trustees has created a First Parish COVID-19 Emergency Fund. The purpose of this fund is to provide emergency financial aid to the members and friends of our congregation and surrounding communities, really to anyone who is struggling with financial hardship due to the pandemic. But before we can start giving away money, we need to collect some more money. So if you would like to contribute, you can use the donate button on the church website, www.uugroton.org, and just use the button that says COVID-19 Fund. Finally, the church leaders and I are so deeply grateful for your ongoing financial support of our church. Thank you to all who have given so generously. You are keeping us going. If you are able to give toward the work of the church, just go on over to the church website and click on the donate button. One of the unexpected but very real blessings of this pandemic time is how geographical distance has become so much less important. Our virtual congregation includes people from Costa Rica to Western Canada. The small groups I am leading right now have people zooming in from Kansas and Florida. And our former youth programs coordinator, Marissa Benson, is now working with us again from her new home in Oregon to help gather up the youth and young adults of our community during these difficult days. Youth group met by Zoom last Sunday, and the youth wrote a poem together, which I am honored to be able to share with you. Here is what they wrote. What have I seen? I have seen unrest, silence, protests, people losing family, grief, negative energy. People in the streets, violence in videos and articles, rage, destruction, imbalance. What have I felt? I felt community. I felt overwhelmed, tired, fearful, unsettled, depressed, broken, all of the above, layers and layers. I felt layers and layers. What have I heard? I've heard strength, birds singing, justice, Black Lives Matter, change, people talking and lifting up their voices. New things are rising. New things are rising. That is the story I want us to be able to tell about these days. New things are rising. I've been thinking a lot about the stories we will tell about this time in the history of our country and our world. Will we be able to say that somehow, despite the devastating losses of these days, or maybe because of these devastating losses, this became a time of awakening? Will we be able to say that this was the great turning we have been waiting for? A member of our congregation, Lorraine, suggested to me that it could be really good to gather people together in small groups so that we could help each other create life-giving stories about this time in our lives. By stories, she isn't talking about fiction. She is talking about how when we look back upon our lives, we need to be able to make sense of them. And we can learn to do that in ways that are more healing. So we can look back at our lives, and instead of telling the story of our failures and mistakes, we can tell the story of our strengths. we can tell the story of our resilience, our tenacity, our ability to survive and do hard things. Lorraine wrote about wanting to create stories for the children and the youth that would give them the hope and faith and strength they will surely need to continue the journey in a world with pandemics and horrific violence, as well as wonder and beauty. She suggested that we ask people to write about the narrative they would like their children and grandchildren to carry with them about these days. That we create time and space for people to speak honestly about the struggles and the pain and the things they hope their children won't carry forward, and also to help one another find and name the unexpected gifts, the blessings. I love this idea. And I love it because I believe that thinking about the present moment in terms of the story we want to be able to tell about how we responded to this moment, the story of how we struggled and were afraid and yet found our voice, found our capacity for joy or our true gifts as a bread baker or a poet or a gardener, the story of how we learned to be more generous or how to be still for the first time in our lives, the story of how we deepened our commitment to justice. Discovering the story we want to be able to tell will help us live right now. And it will also help us shape a tiny piece of the future. You don't have to wait for me to organize a curriculum, though. You can just start. You can start with questions like these. What has been really hard and painful? And where have I found strength? What have I learned that I didn't know before? How have I surprised myself? Who or what has surprised me? What are the losses? What are the gifts? What do I want to forget? And what do I want to remember? What goodness and generosity have I witnessed? What do I want to tell the children? What do I need to tell them? One thing I know I want to tell the children and the youth is how much I am learning from them about how to be brave, how to show up for justice, even when I am uncomfortable or afraid of making mistakes, and how to keep learning. The youth and young adults are leading us now, because somehow so many of them already seem to know what we are struggling so hard to learn. That hate is the poison, but love is the remedy. That everything is not okay, and knowing that is okay. That authority and respect must be earned. That just because something is legal doesn't mean it's right, and that fierce love is what will be needed. They know because they teach us already that there is possibility, and that we must open ourselves to new ways of being, because the old way is not working, has never worked, and the world deserves better. So let's create new stories. Stories about healing and change. Stories that begin like this. New things are rising. So we will close our service now, but I invite you to stay and listen to the beautiful postlude music. The chat will stay open for a while and then come on over to Zoom Coffee Hour. So put one hand on your heart and with the other, reach out. We are connected. We are woven together by strong and sturdy threads of love. Go in peace. You be a blessing to this world.